Guys, it's me. I'm back. What's up, party people? We're like, Mads, come on. All right, this show is taking a turn for the. Oh. What's going on, you guys? Welcome to another episode of Monster Bass Live. I'm so excited to be back. It feels like I've been gone forever, and God, it's really good to be back. You know, they say the vacation is really an important thing to do because it helps you just like reset your life. But I was gone on August 2nd. To the 9th with 40 little kids. And those little rugrats, not only did they get me sick, but they gave me the opportunity to burn a ton of wood, shoot a bunch of guns, do a little fishing, and I had run around the woods with a walkie-talkie, and I had the best time of my life. And I'm very fortunate that I get to do that. And I feel badly for all of you that don't have an opportunity to do this summer camp thing because it's like being a kid again. And it's so good. I want to say thank you to Liquid Death, keeping me hydrated. And I want to say hi to you guys because I missed you guys. I missed you guys a lot. And I might have cheated. I know there's a push to see who's going to get to be here first and comment, but I might have cheated 3 days ago and when I set this up and commented. But you know, it's your typical usual suspects. We got let's see who's in here: James Anthony, Chaplain Cap, Vermonter, Brewster, Brian McClellan, Man Stuff, Dad Stuff. Oh yeah, the usual suspects are here. T-Rex, of course. Man, there's a lot of good people in here. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Yeah, I went from summer camp, came home 24 hours later. I was on a plane to Europe. And I got to tell you guys, I took a trip. I don't know if you guys watch Gossip Girl. But, you know, on that show, those kids living on the Upper West Side of Manhattan had gobs and gobs of money. And I went for a birthday party, for a 40th birthday party for a kid that I used to babysit in grad school. And his family owns like half of Boston. And when I tell you, all I had to do was get there and they paid for the rest. That's all I had to do. And to put it into perspective, the bar tab one day was 25,000 euro. And I didn't pay a penny. Amazing. But I got a great show for you guys today. We got Chief Dove on the show, and I'm excited to introduce him to you guys. We're going to do some golden tickets. We're gonna show off some PBs. We might, as T-Rex just put into the chat, we might even talk about some new products because, you know, we got these new flak jackets that just came, and you know, neoprene rod covers, 4 different colors, casting, spinning. We got lots of new baits coming. I'm excited to share all that with you guys, and I want to say welcome to everyone who's here for the very first time. It's good to have you here. And, you know, we like to get together every single week. Sometimes there's a little bit of shenanigans and fun. Sometimes it's really serious stuff about fishing. But most importantly, it's just a collection of really good people, like all of you guys in the chat that I recognize. Marty Lawson, you know, all these people. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to answer the one question right now about the Monster Bass flak jackets, And I'm going to give you guys the link because somebody asked for it. And hold on. I'm going to give that to you now. So if that's really what you're looking for, I'll get that to you so that you can order some. I don't want to keep you waiting. But there they are. As always, I appreciate you guys. And if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up button. And if you don't, well, it's just another $1 I'll have to spend in therapy with my therapist to build up my confidence because, I'm kind of shy. So, yeah, I don't know what you guys have been up to lately, but I'm definitely excited to be here. So let's not waste any time. Our guest today, and I know I kept it kind of like on the down low because I just did. He is no stranger to the industry. He's an industry vet. He's been around some of the biggest names in fishing, some of the biggest names behind fishing. And I'm really excited to have him here today. Let's give a big warm welcome for Chief Dove. How's it going, man?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thanks. You guys at home, was that what view's better, this one or this one? I'd like to hear in the chat because it would be helpful. Until then, so welcome to the show. Why do they call you Chief Dove?
Well, I retired back in 2017. Can't believe it's been that long, as chief of police in Indiana. I was chief for 7 years at the police department. Did 27 years altogether. I retired at 48 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a crazy ride. I loved what I was doing. We did great things. Did a lot of long career, and it was just time. I just felt like there was nothing more to achieve. I was already in the fishing industry as a rep, and I'm a lifelong fisherman. And I just decided, I believe in myself, and a lot of people, to be honest with you, I couldn't have done it without a lot of backing from a lot of people. And I just had it out and said, I gave them a year's notice. I was on good terms, and I just went for it.
Wow.
I love the guys and gals that were there. They're dedicated to what they do. They don't get paid squat, and they do a lot of good stuff for the community. And, back then there was a lot of things going on within the United States, and then Ferguson happened. It's 3 hours west of here. And then other things happened. I decided, I'd rather let somebody else take over and on to my next venture in life and help people out. That was my goal through fishing. I call it the healing power of water. We can get into that later, what else I got involved in, and it's been nonstop since.
So what was your first entry into this industry?
I was gotten interested in tournament fishing, hot and heavy, back in the late 2000s. I've always been fishing, and I grew up in Minnesota, and my parents moved me here in high school, and I thought I'd never fish again going to Indiana, But I started tournament fishing and loved doing that stuff. I just love being on the water. And so I picked up some sponsorship. First was Wright and McGill back in the day, when Skeet Reese was with them, and then Rick Clunn was with him. I got to work a classic with Rick Clunn and my mentor, Big Daddy. Then I left there, and I was fortunate enough to get with Temple Fork Outfitters back in the day when they first really got hot and heavy in the bass industry. A guy by the name of Rick Pope founded that company, and he taught me a ton. And he exposed me to a lot of his team back then was unbelievable. And I got to learn a lot, and I was just like a sponge. So I decided with that, come towards the end of my career, I said, it was a crossroads, do I stay another 10 years and I'm 60 some odd years old when I get out, and burn out and don't enjoy it, or do I got this chance? And I was exposed to a lot of great people in the industry. And so I went for it. That team he had at TFO was unbelievable back in the day. And what I liked about it was all the people that Rick put together, that they were all designers of something. They just didn't fish. They weren't big tournament guys, so to speak. They were big in the industry as far as inventing things, creating things. It was all because of time on the water. And then, for example, I got exposed to Gary Loomis early on. And Gary was also a Navy veteran like myself, who had a lot to talk about. And that's where he was a machinist in the Navy. That's where he learned a lot of his stuff. And then he had Flip Pallet in there. And then I really took a liking to Lefty Cray. He's passed away since then. And Lefty Cray was unbelievable guy. Unbelievable. Just a cool guy. And I learned a lot of stuff I can't tell you the secrets, how he got his name and different things and who he went fishing with. And then we got just a ton of, and then the biggest influence I had besides Rick Pope himself was Larry Dahlberg was on the team. And being from Minnesota myself, and I lived there for a while, and Dahlberg is from Wisconsin, Minnesota area. And I've always idolized Larry, the way he thinks, the way he does things. And I noticed we had quarterly meetings and we had yearly functions where everybody on the team would get together, and down in Dallas where Temple Fork is at. And I found myself, me and Larry, I hate to say it, spend 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning outside the hotel drinking beer and wine and stuff. And I couldn't stop picking his brain. I thought to myself, I'm not going to go to bed as long as this guy wants to talk to me about how to make things, build things, philosophy on how to fish. And then, Dahlberg and all these guys are in the Hall of Fame, not just because for tournament fishing, but things they've created and things Dahlberg, if you listen to his life story, how he got brought up on the St. Croix River there, and how he grew up and what he learned. And he went to college to literature, so he learned how to write. And then he went to In Fisherman, left there, started his own TV program for 30 years. And then he created one of the best-selling lures of all time, the Whopper Plopper. And I learned from Larry a ton of things about. Larry is also underrated rod builder too. Larry knows a ton about building rods. And then I learned from him. I could say I was fortunate enough. I learned how to fish a Whopper Plopper with Larry Dahlberg on his home water. I mean,
that's pretty cool.
We were catching smallmouth and muskies on the same lure. And I sat down after I caught a big muskie with him. I just sat down and took it all in, drank a beer in the rain with Larry Dahlberg, and just took it all in. I'm like, so I thank Rick Pope whenever I get the chance to see him, and just for the opportunity that he gave me. Then I moved on from there and had an opportunity to build lures for other companies and stuff, some of which are manufacturers of other OEM companies and stuff. But I can't get into all who it was and whatnot, but because of contractual agreements, proprietary issues, I should say. But then I also designed some my own lures for these companies as well too, and I put them out there and they did pretty good. And I go back to what I'm just a nobody, I'm never going to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm never going to do this, that, and the other. But however, what I did do is I took all that training I had, and I was the FBI National Academy grad. I was a detective. So I took all that training I had, observation skills, if you will, and my love from passion for fishing. And I learned from all these guys at TFO and all these other people. I traveled to China several times. I've been to Korea. I've been in probably 30 manufacturing plants throughout the world and learn and listen to how they build things. And then Rick Pope himself sent me all over the country to work shows and do things. And they would just fly me into different shows to sell their rods. And I got to meet just a ton of great people. And then I started a Hero Getaway program up in Minnesota. My dear friends, the Garrisons, own Garrisons Resort up there. And I did a lot of testing on products and stuff. Well, more importantly, we hosted the Hero Getaway. And I got to see the healing power of water itself firsthand.
Yeah, so that's why I said Hero Getaway.
Hero Getaway, we started, my mentor and everything was a guy by the name of Dr. Garrison. He was police commissioner at the time who promoted me with the other police commissioner, the chief of police. And he was a Korean Navy veteran. He was a corpsman in the Navy in Korea. And Dr. Garrison had double doctorate, 2 doctorate degree in public administration.
Uh-huh.
One from IU and one from Purdue, and just a cool guy, smart as hell. And he was a Democrat and in a hardcore Republican area. And he was talking about he's the token Democrat. And he taught me a lot about how to get things done, how to be a man, how to, walk in a room and not be intimidated by politicians and different things like that. And so anyway, Dr. Garrison and his family would always go together, about 34, 35 of them at a time, up to Minnesota to go fishing on a family reunion. That's what they love to do. So we naturally got along. And they had an opportunity to buy a resort back in the day. So Dr. Garrison got with me and his son Mike and his daughter-in-law Sherry and says, look, I want to put Mike together with you guys. I want to host this thing to help policemen, firemen, and veterans. And we're going to call it the Hero Getaway. Well, we did that. And the first year, we only had like 10 people. Then the sad thing about it, Dr. Garrison got really sick, and he wasn't able to go to the first one. We hosted that first one in 2012 there in Shevlin, Minnesota. And he passed away that December. So we dedicated ourselves. This is what he wanted and what he wanted to do. And we've been going strong. We've hosted now, did the 13th one. And then we have an opening. Let's say they get there on a Saturday. It's a week-long event. They charge nothing. And I got all kinds of fishing tackle donated to food. They support it. By the time 2 years ago, it got so big that we had to hire caterers. When we first started this, we were cooking all the meals ourselves. And I saw firsthand what it was like to give the guys and show them the basics, that what nature looks like, what fishing looks like, and all this other stuff. And I saw the shoulders, all the tension and all the stuff. I've had guys from Korea War to Vietnam War early on, all the way up. We've had 20 some odd years of combat veterans now. And then we had policemen and firemen and veterans. We found out that we all come from different parts of the planet and did different jobs, but we had all the same issues. And what a common thing was, they didn't even, 90% of the people we invited up there were the first time they ever been bass fishing on a boat. Mm. So I had guys come up, brought their boats, took guys out, and we had a mentor program. Like you do this in combat as well. You got a battle buddy. So they would take care of each other. And then since then, we've had a ton of great relationships started by people from Minnesota, Alabama, and they still meet once a year and talk and do things. That's so amazing. We saw it firsthand. And unfortunately, Sherry Garrison, Mike Garrison's wife, who owned the resort, just passed away from cancer this last March. So we put it on hold for a year. And I'm going back up. I've already been there twice, this year. And I'm going back up in next week, the traditional week of Hero Getaway. And I'm going to test some more product up there and develop some ideas and meet some people. And just the people that I met, I just super fortunate, Rick, and all this stuff, just to been exposed and create a passion that I've had and how to pass it on and have the vehicle to do it, so to speak. And now I'm super excited to be here and talk to you, and we'll get into more of that as we go, what I'm going to be doing. But I just super, super fortunate that, again, I'm just a nobody, but I've been around the industry now, I couldn't believe it, 15 years. And I've been into some big, huge company meetings. And I will get into whatever people want to know. I feel like I've been revitalized. I got a new passion for creating stuff. And my whole goal is to create baits and do stuff for people that just want to go fishing. They don't want to put up all this hype and all that. You don't have to be a tournament fishing. You don't have to know this. You don't have to know that. My goal is just either in the boat or create lures or work with people that have the same passion, just to make it easy for people to go fishing. And a lot of guys what I found out in this Hero Getaway program, I've had guys that were friends with a combat veteran for 25 years, had no idea what they did in combat. Until we took them out on the water, showed them certain things and let them know it's okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to have pain still. It's okay to feel sorrow. And I've been through this several times in my life.
Sure.
Through my police career, I was a SWAT commander. I was an undercover detective for years, all the way to the chief of police, plus the military. And I faced very little compared to some of these guys I met through the program. You know, back in Vietnam, I just had talked to one of my buddies who was an officer in Vietnam, and I got started in a program years ago. A friend of mine, he was a retired Sergeant Major Green Beret, and he went through tell you what kind of guy he was in his unit. He was in Afghanistan in country September 16th, 2001, 5 days after. And what I learned from him was this: when I talked to him, everything's different now. Everything's changed. So I go back to Vietnam. If you had a guy that did 2 or 3 combat tours, it was pretty rare.
Yeah.
Rick, I've met guys in the Hero Getaway program that 6, 7, 8 tours over in the Middle East. And the things these guys are going through and the things they've seen, it's people have no idea. You know, they talk about stolen valor, whatever, all this other stuff. It doesn't matter. You put your time in. I always say, you raise your right hand, I'll talk to you. Because that means they want to be a part of something much bigger than themselves. And I think as a country, we're kind of losing that. And I see the same thing with policemen too. That's one of the reasons I got out. I just saw the lack of respect. Not that respect is earned, but the lack of people just don't know and hear through this thing we call media.
Yeah.
That it's factual and real when they don't take the time and learn who these people are. I'm telling you, there's bad apples and everything. There's bad people in the military. There's bad people I met in special forces. There's bad, but 99% of them, we wouldn't have what we have if it wasn't for these guys. No,
I'm gonna go 95%, but I agree with you 100%.
I got you.
Only because I watched The Shield and Michael Chip. He's a good dude, but anyway.
Well, it may be 95%. I don't know. Yeah. You know, so I say I'll go back to that real quick, but just a rebuttal. I wish, and I also had this too with all the politicians. I had no problem with politicians. I told them this on my exit interview. I never had a problem with any of them that wasn't corrupt. You know, and I would like to see them. I had a 90 some odd % approval rating from the city I worked for when I left. There's a lot less of them that are good than there are bad. I can say that.
Fair enough. All right, so let's transition over to some fishing stuff. And if I ask you something,
that's what I'd rather talk about anyway.
If I ask you some stuff that you can't talk about,
yeah,
you guys just let me know, because we didn't talk ahead of time about what was off limits and what wasn't. So, Are we able to talk about the last company that you worked with?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So previously, you were with a company called Thunderhawk.
Yep.
And I'll be honest, I met you. I think it was your first iCast with Thunderhawk. You're not going to remember this, but I remember walking in and going, Davey, who the hell is this guy? And I was like, I can't get a word in. I'm like, he's been talking to this guy for like 45 minutes, and I was like just soaking it up, because you guys were talking about the way the baits move in the water and the aerodynamics and the patterns, and it was all super interesting. But I never got to have my meeting, and Davey went back, and that's just a funny sidebar, because I do remember you at the Thunderhawk booth, and so it's funny that we're sitting here today. What was so at Thunderhawk, what was the mandate at Thunderhawk? Because when I first met Thunderhawk, when Thunderhawk was brought to me, they were, and I could get the states wrong, Hawk was running this company. He had like a warehouse in, I don't know, Tennessee or something. They sent me some samples, and I remember looking at them going, oh my God, this looks like this packaging's awful. And it looks like it's like I found a spelling error, and it just looked like it was like some factory in China making stuff and trying to sell them in the US. And then it kind of disappeared for a little bit. and then you joined the company. What was the mandate when you joined the company to like make it big?
There wasn't a mandate. What he asked me to do, I met him at a show, matter of fact, here in Indianapolis. And through some common people, he got word of me through TFO and some other people I was working for doing stuff. And then he asked me what I was doing. I said, well, nothing right now. You know, I'm going to start tournament fishing and this, that, and I've done that. And he said, you want to come be a rep and then help me as a consultant, see what I needed to do for the company. I said, sure. So I met him down there in Arkansas and looked through all this stuff and evaluated it. And I got the same impression that you're talking about. And that's not his fault. You know, he had a couple of, I want to be careful, bad advisors, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't really fish, or they just fished in one general area. You know, owning a company, as you know, that sells across the country, you better be regional and you better be up on what's going on, or you're just going to, or have somebody to fish help design your stuff, or you got problems, period.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then one thing led to another, and then next thing you know, I'm right in the middle of all this stuff and creating baits and designing baits. And then I even went in, because he is a true manufacturer. He owns plants over in China, doing different things. And so I'd sit on these. He makes for a lot of people. And now in the United States, and we can get to this too, so-called JDM stuff, I saw firsthand a lot of stuff and a lot of monster companies, not Monster Bass, monster companies.
Yeah.
And I got to learn a lot. But just this last year or so, I won't say we had a falling out. We just had a different in a vision and an opinion about where to go with the company. And be honest with you, Hawk does so much with his manufacturing side that I don't think he really had it in him to take it to the next level, what we were getting ready to do. And I felt like I needed a lot more support than I had to take it to the next level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we were starting to sell pretty heavy. I do podcasts, talk about my lures. I mean, all of a sudden we see 100 orders that night, you know, and that's full retail, and that's not including the stores that we developed.
Sure.
So, I developed, and through all this, I developed a big network of trust, and with Tackle Warehouse, for example, you know, they're great company to work with. They bought a ton of our stuff, and through it all, I also had the opportunity. I got to design a rod. You know, I built a Tyco rod. I built the lipless bait. I built a jig. I built crankbaits and I felt we needed more marketing, you know, and that's my biggest downfall. I didn't really know how to do all that. I just knew how to fish, build baits, and build relationships. So that's where we had the parting of the ways, you know.
Yeah. Sounds like he was so focused on manufacturing and doing what he was good at that he didn't have time to actually build a brand,
right,
and do the things necessary.
I don't fault him, he gave me a great opportunity. There's no huge hard feelings or anything. Just sometimes that's life, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I have to ask a question that came that was in the chat from Nick wants to know, remember that smoke show that was in the date? No, sorry, wrong question. No. Man Stuff, Dad Stuff wants to know what your first impressions of me were.
I don't really remember. To be honest with you, you're talking about an iCast?
No. The first phone call. Let's just go with the first time we talked.
Oh, you know, to be honest with you, it's kind of strange. If I can be honest.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a similar like personality, total chaos with a passion. You know what I mean? Meaning that with knowledge, there's a passion, there's 100 miles an hour and need to slow down. And that's me. And that's what I felt the first time I talked to you. Cause I'm sure you told me several times, oh, wait a minute, slow down. What are you talking about? And I did the same thing with you. And then that's what I felt. And I felt like it was real, it was organic, and that's what I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that there's a passion there, and I think that's what triggered my thoughts and talks, because you did it with me. You asked around the industry, you talked to people. I did the same thing. I talked to people on your team and stuff that I trust, and they all had good things to say. And I said, that's where, to be totally honest with you, that's where I saw in this industry. I saw in the industry a lot of problems, and there's going to be continued a lot of problems. I just want to be with somebody, not just appreciates what I can do and how to do it, but appreciates the passion and the love for what we got to do and work as a team. I mean, we're not going to get it all right 100% of the time. No way. But when you hit that one home run and you work your ass off to get it, and you see somebody catch their PB, and they said that was a cool freaking bait, or you catch your own on your own bait, that makes it all worth it to me. Yeah. They used to have a guy back in Indiana back in the 80s and 90s. His name was Don. He owns Don Guns. He was infamous for his commercials. He'd point his fingers at the camera. He goes, I don't want to make money. I just want to sell guns.
I like that. I like that.
I don't get me wrong. I like making money, and money turns the corner for you. But at the same time, I've had a life. I've had a career. As long as I can pay the bills and make sure I got gas in that Ranger boat of mine and go down the road and I get to go meet all these people and take care of my house and everything. I'm solid, dude. And that's what we forget, I think, sometimes, to take care of the people and give. I've been so fortunate to be helped out along the way that it's time to pass it along and help people and do stuff. And I'm super excited, Rick, to talk about what we're going to talk about and do what we do. And I'm excited. And I tell people right now that if you ever looked at some of the baits I created for other companies, you can fish them right out of the package, and there was no bullshit with that. I'm not going to lie to you. And they're meant to catch fish. I hate to say that as an owner of a company. They're meant to catch fish, not fishermen. Well, and that's the hard part in business.
Fair enough. All right. So to bring everyone up to speed, and then I want to talk about a bait that I've got in my hand here. So you and I started talking, and one of the things I said I needed some help with was, retail expansion is really important, because at the end of the day, you need people to be able to find your product in more places than just your website and a handful of regional stores. You need to really get a solid footprint out there, because it helps to pay the bills, and it helps to give you the funds necessary to do some things like expanding the Monster Bass Cares program that we talked about, and things like that, and some of the programs that we want to do for vets and first responders and kids. But it all starts with fishing. And the other thing I said was, we got a line of baits, but I want to continue to develop it. I want to make sure that the patterns that we have are the right ones for retail, and I want to continue to keep developing the product line so that every year we're coming out with new baits. And we've got about 6 new baits coming. They'll all be here before the end of the year. We've got the BFS line of rods, which is on the water. We got the Lunker Stick Pros that are coming. We got a lot of stuff, but when it comes to making baits, I'm not the expert. And to date, I've been relying on a whole team of people, and I thought it would be helpful to have someone to help me. And so that's where I think, that's where you're going to come into play. And so for everyone watching, so he's going to be helping us not only expand retail, but design baits and bring new things to market based upon what we know will sell, based upon what we see as a whole in the marketplace, and as well as like stuff that we just think is really cool and innovative. And whether the ideas come from you guys watching or just from us, we're going to develop some stuff. Now, one of the cool things that you designed was this lipless right here. What was this called? Is this the Sergeant?
The Sergeant. Yep.
This is a Sergeant from Thunderhawk. And why don't you I've got one with the hooks already done. And the first thing I noticed when I picked this thing up, now we featured this in the box. I don't know if you guys remember this. We featured this in the box a while back. It's got a really unique shape. But the really cool thing that I noticed was that all the hook hangers turn. They all rotate. Now, first of all, tell me why that's important. And tell me what makes this lipless like just fish differently than other lipless.
Well, as you know, there's a ton of lipless on the market. There's a ton of them. They've been around forever. Nobody really knows who was first, but I can tell you there's been a lot. And I've been fishing lipless crankbaits. One of the first baits I ever caught bass on, it was on lipless baits. I fished them all when I used to go to Canada all the time with Big Daddy. I'd bring out 25 spinner baits and a dozen lipless crankbaits, and that's all I brought because I had so much confidence in it. But there's so many things about a lipless, different brands that I didn't like. You know, you lose a lot of fish. There's all kinds of way to fish it, and a lot of people just think you chuck it and wind it and crank it back. And there's so many different things you could do to it. And the cool thing about a lipless is you can fish the entire water column with the thing. It's not just limited to shad. It's grass, it's rock, it's shallow, it can be deep. That's why I created different versions. But the uniqueness of that was a lot of times you use a yo-yo technique or you go up and down. And the big thing, a lot of people lose a lot of fish on lipless because of the way a fish comes at it. But what they don't realize, if you watch underwater footage of bass hitting a lure, it's super fast. I mean, they can take it and go away, or they can just slap at it. And depending on the color and what kind of feeding mood they're in. But a lot of people lose it, but they don't realize, and they say, I've lost it. That thing wasn't biting right, or they only got the back hook. Well, a lot of times they have that thing fully in their mouth. They just had leverage to get it out. You know, I don't know how they do it, because if you and I raked our hands down those sharp treble hooks, we get stuck every time. But majority of bass, when they take in a lipless, will have it across their face like this. Well, like I said before, they gain leverage on it. So I wanted a way to make a bait so they have less opportunity to spit it. So I came up with the idea of having swivels both front and back on the treble hooks.
Yeah.
And where the hook hanger is. So if you notice big swim baits that guys have, and that's a tendency now that guys are going big swim baits, they're putting rotating hooks in them because they have so much hard bait to leverage to get it in there to get rid of the bait. So I said, why don't we just create this, eliminate this problem? And so we did that. And that one, it came out great. And I drew that up on my uncle's back porch in Alabama when I was at the Bassmaster Classic. And I was thinking about this, and we're down there in Alabama where lipless crushes on Gunnersville, So I drew it up on the back porch and put it on graph paper. And then we put it in a computer program and a CAD. And then we went to town with it and got it back and forth. And then finally said, okay, this is it. This is right. And that thing does some very unique stuff. It sits nose down, tail up. I can fish it like a jig when let's say I'm down there in Lake of the Ozarks or Table Rock in the spring. I can pull that back and fish it like a jig all the way back to the boat. I can put it in grass anywhere and rip it off of grass. And there's some unique characteristics built inside that thing that it's a triggering mechanism, but it's also goes back to the basics. You feed you. And my philosophy on building baits is I got this from Dahlberg himself too. A bait has to do three different things, and they overcomplicate things way too much. You got to be able to cast it or it's no good. And then you got to be able to trigger a strike, however that may be. There's different philosophies on that. Either they're feeding, non-feeding, or just reactionary or whatever. And you got to be able to bring the fish back to the boat. And that's the same thing I do with building a rod. Same thing. I got to be able to cast what I want to cast, be able to set the hook, and then bring the fish back into the boat. It's that simple. Well, the missing link on most lipless baits was they lost them, bring it back to the boat. Or another one, they make them so light because they get the vibration out of them, they cast like potato chips, so you can't cast it out. So being those three elements was, I thought, crucial in a lipless, and that's number one seller. And that was a big success. And that was actually I entered that into Best of Show at ICAST. I can't remember what year it was. It's been several years ago now. But I won't get into the politics of that because I know I got a lot of votes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can have the best product and you're not going to win unless you're putting money behind it or throwing a party like Costa.
Yeah. Well, matter of fact, we even had a party because we were told that morning that we may have had the votes. And I'll just leave it alone with who won that year. And then we had a party set up, but we still did the party anyway because we were happy with the product. We really killed it at ICAST that year. That's when that Tackle Warehouse picked it up and they really liked it. Matter of fact, when they were doing the What's New at Tackle Warehouse video, the guy kept on they had to do several takes because he kept on getting his fingers stuck on it.
Okay. So I also noticed this one's silent.
Yeah, there was two versions.
Yeah.
There was a silent one and a rattle one. One was their exact same size, diameter. One was silent and one was a rattle, and they have two different ways of fishing. But what I found was, and then this really picked up once we developed it. I like fishing silent, lipless, and nobody was doing it at the time. Hardly anybody has ever done it. A few of them did it, but they didn't.
Rattle traps had silent ones forever.
Yeah. A lot of people did silent ones, but then you can't find them anymore. And I know, especially as much pressure these lakes are getting. And then also the springtime, people don't realize too, when fish come from deep to shallow, I think they're a little more skittish.
Yeah.
So in the springtime, a lipless is king, if you fish it. So they're skittish. It's silent. Or they get pressure by too many fishermen out there. I just had the idea, let's make it silent. And it was the number one seller is silent.
Cool.
By far.
All right. Before we talk about some other baits, I do want to say hi to Gramps and hope that he's recovering quickly. I know he's back in for some stuff, and we're all praying for you and wishing you a speedy recovery. And then I want to just say welcome to people that are here for the very first time. Thanks for coming here. Glad you can breathe, Gramps. All right, I'm going to call a couple golden tickets right now. Guys, this is not the time to put it into the chat. I'm going to call two, and then I'm going to call some at the end of the show. So as you guys know, your box comes with an individually numbered golden ticket. If I call the number, just email me at rick@monsterbass.com with you, a picture of the ticket, your name, your address, your cell phone number, so that I can send something to you. So the two numbers I'm going to call right now are 518 and 227-116. So I'll leave that on the screen for right now just because I don't need people to tell me that they don't know the numbers. Also, I'm a little behind because I was out, so I owe a couple people boxes. I will make sure I get those out by Monday. So there we have it. Cats and Nasties, Caro, Cupcake. Wow, we got more people. 18 likes and all these people. It's so weird. It's so weird. It doesn't seem I can do anything to make people happy these days.
That's pretty common lately. People are afraid that if they push a button, they'll get emails back. Or there's some weird nuance to it. And just push a like button. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Who said that? Looking for, look, by the time you get back on the water, you guys, there'll be brand new Monster Bass bags. I've got them. They're better. And in the tackle boxes, guys, I've got, they're over there on the counter, the new vaults. I've got spinnerbait boxes. I've got crankbait boxes, bladed jig boxes to bring those up to 5 different ones, all on their way. And yes, the monthly bags, I've got new bags for those because you know what I realized? I traveled with Matt Brown to the Classic, and he was using his bag for his toiletries. And And that's great as long as someone uses it. But then I went to like, where was I? I think I was at like my ex-wife's house. Oh yeah, that's right. No. She brought her daughter over to my house for a sleepover so that I could watch her for a weekend because she was going out of town. And she brought her doll, and her doll had like a little makeup kit. And I looked at the bag and I was like, this looks like a little toiletries kit. And it looks just like my Monster Bass bag. I was like, I can't. I was like, literally, as soon as she went to bed, I contacted my manufacturer. I'm like, we have to change these bags right now because I can't have the Platinum Edition coming in a bag that looks like a toiletries bag that Matt Brown and my goddaughter is using for her dolls. So I'm just letting you guys know that I changed all the bags because of that. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. The new headbangers. Oh, yeah. I know which one you're talking about now. I had to think about that for a second. All right. So back to where we were. Mm-hmm. So we've been spending a lot of time talking about spinner baits. You know, I basically sent you one of everything that we have or two of everything that we have. You tested them out. You gave me feedback. I like this. I don't like that. Here's the changes we should make. And lately, it's been a lot about spinner baits. Can you show us some of the spinner baits you've been working on?
Yeah.
And let's talk about the skirts. Let's talk about the laser engraved blades and some of the things that you've been working on.
Yeah, like I said, that's one of my big go-tos in the years past is just spinnerbait, whether it be in Canada, Texas, Florida, it doesn't matter. Well, and I've realized too, talking to a bunch of my friends in the industry, that there's a whole generation of new fishermen don't even know what a spinnerbait is. It's hilarious because of the bladed jig. And so I've been intentionally going out and fishing the spinnerbait more and more, and I'm getting big reactions out of spinnerbaits, and I'm crushing guys in the boat that are fishing other stuff. So when we talked, there were certain things I liked and didn't like. And I also talked about there's different skirt material now that's with technology. They're making things stronger, unbelievable, more realistic. So I started messing around with different monster bass baits, and I started doing colorways and stuff. But here's one, for example, made it look like a bluegill. Mm-hmm. And I'm working with meshing different things of tinsel and different material types of tinsel. This one's got a 1/69th of an inch skirt material on it. Mm-hmm. But the nice about this stuff, if you make it right, it's very durable too. It's all in how you tie it. If you don't, Larry Dahlberg, talk about him again. I learned a ton from him. I've been tying these. Big Daddy taught me how to tie them by hand about 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so I talked to Dahlberg about this, and sure enough, little did I know, I feel like a dumbass. I'm in the boat with Larry Dahlberg, and I whip out my tinsel spinner baits. I said, "Man, you ever tied flashy blue on a spinner bait?" He goes, "I invented that shit." So I can't get nothing past him. You know what I mean? Yeah. It came at exactly what I thought. You ever looking back in the 60s, 70s, maybe 80s, everybody threw the silver tinsel on the Christmas tree. Well, a door opened when he was a kid and in the house, and a vacuum got created. And so the tinsel moved on the tree, and he goes, "Oh, if you know Larry Dahlberg, how he thinks, I can use that on a fly." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So then the stuff on that was not very durable. So he came out and recreated that to make it look like, and super, super strong. Then since Dahlberg came up with the Flashaboo and this new material, so I try to think, okay, match the hatch type of thing, or stuff that they haven't been using spinner baits. We can expose a whole generation of people, plus other guys that maybe forgot about it. But more importantly, there are new materials you can use that make it where fish come unglued. Here's a prime example. I call this one Golden Shiner. It's got different looks to it. And what the fish see is they can't really get a good look at, but they see the colorways they want. It's just like a fish in the water. A bait fish, whether it be a bluegill or a perch or a shiner or a shad, when they're in distress, they flicker. If you ever see that when you come across them, they'll do a flicker, and you'll see that, and that's a reaction that you get from fish a lot of times. So I also got another one. Here's one that came out really cool. This is similar to what I used to tie years ago. And this is with the head of the sexy crack, or
Yeah.
And I tied that with what's called platinum, and I mixed silver in there too. So it's very shady looking thing right there.
Yeah.
And what I did, I took the 1/2 ounce head and put it on the Who's Your Daddy blades, and I'm burning the crap out of this thing, burning it. And what's really cool about this configuration is, since it's got the 1/2 ounce head, I can throw it out there, and on the fall, I can let it go deep. And on the fall, this thing's just fluttering like crazy. I've been tearing them up in Minnesota with this. And then here's another one. I took one of your other heads too. This, I call this perch, but I'm going to change some head colors and whatever. But it's got the gold, the green, and reds and whatnot.
So we're going to be coming out with some spinner baits that are going to have a variety of different skirt materials, everything from living rubber to the Flashaboo stuff. And either it's going to help me catch fish, or I'm going to use it to decorate my Christmas presents. One of the two.
Well, here's one I can show you. This is the new stuff from Flashaboo called Polar. And I didn't really think about it at the time. I called my buddy Perry in northern Minnesota, who has his own company too, that designs mostly walleye lures. And he fished with me. I showed him how to do a lot of things in bass fishing in Minnesota. We have a great time building things and creating things. But I said, I came up with this new material called Polar. He goes, well, polar bears, their hair is very, very thin, and it's waterproof, and it floats. I'm like, well, that's what this thing, maybe where they got the name from. But check this thing out. I call this thing gizzard, like a gizzard shad.
Never heard of it.
That thing, I am wrecking them every lake I've been going to with that color. And I got them. So I'm trying to come up with bluegill colors for different, bluegill and fishing in Minnesota is different than fishing in Florida. So you need different hues, and Florida's just a different animal too. So I came up with this new one. This is actually called Black Rainbow. If you ever seen a dark, those big bluegills, when they get real big and they get real black and dark, or a tannic water, they get real dark. Look at that stuff. That's got all the colors in it. And it's got a black hue to it too. And just working with a ton of different, I got a hue for threadfin shad I'm working on. Got that blue and little stuff in it, like a threadfin. Gizzard shad, just about whatever we can do. I'm going to go back. I said, some of these new colors I just tied up, I'm going to go back to Minnesota next week. And it's starting to get cooler up there, so the bass are starting to do their thing. And then also, I love going muskie fishing and pike fishing with bass rods and bass tackle. Kind of like today, everybody talks about BFS for bass.
Yeah.
Bass tackle is BFS for muskies, if you think about it that way, right?
I never have.
It's so also to check, it'll test out the durability of what we're doing. And I think my biggest muskie so far on a bass spinnerbait's 54.5. Wow.
Well, you're just it's a barrage of name dropping and out fishing me, because I have a 48 and that's my biggest. But that's okay. That's okay.
I'm going back in October too, and my buddy Brett, we're going to take these up. I got my buddy's resort, Garrison's Resort. If you can give him a shout, garrisonsresort.us. Beautiful place, cheap, but it's nice. There's 10 lakes within an hour of this place. Plus, it's on its own lake. It's wonderful.
Let me ask you a question.
I got a whole
does the flash
of lakes that got big muskies.
Does the Flashaboo slow the fall rate as much as like Marabou?
No, it does not. No. Marabou, and it's a different way of looking at it. You tie it differently too. Like, for an example, the Marabou, you would tie this way down. So you see the tie right here?
Yeah.
This one, what I've done to create an umbrella effect, there's not a full skirt like on a rubber skirt, or silicone. You just tie it right here this way.
Mm-hmm.
And so what that does, this creates an umbrella, which is so light, and see how it just puffs that out. So when you're pulling it in the water, it streams back in the flow of the water. But then when you pause it, you see a lot of times you'll see, especially bluegills, when they stop, they'll flare those gills a little bit. And that it's a secondary action that really triggers fish into biting. It has I used to tie a lot with marabou and bear hair and squirrel stuff, and I just could never get it to do what I wanted to do, other than on big musky lures.
Yeah, we actually have a bunch of. I have some jigs that I'm making that are made out of fox and rabbit.
There you go.
Some hair jigs that are going to be coming out. The samples just got sent to us.
Well, the hair jigs are a lot different than the spinnerbait. Well, that's what my take. Meaning that the blades do a lot of things, and then you fit much faster.
And do you like, so when you're fishing a spinnerbait with the hell's it called, marabou or flashabou?
Flashabou.
When you're fishing a spinnerbait with flashabou, are you fishing it with a trailer or without?
Yes. A hook trailer, not a plastic trailer. A hook trailer, a hook trailer. I've tried doing it, and this creates so much action and stuff that you don't need that second. That's what a lot of times the trailers will do for you. A plastic trailer, it'll create secondary action. You don't need it with this. And then also it's a good idea to have a trailer hook on it if they do go after, you also got that backup, if you will, hooking. But what happens is when you put it, you can, if you shorten up the skirt quite a bit, because what happens on the cast when this gets wet and the rubber and the flashabou meet, when they get tangled up a lot.
Sure. All right. So I got a question. Somebody asked me, this is more for me than you. Are there going to be smaller baits, headbangers, and buzz baits? Whoever asked that, can you tell me, can you get a little more granular for me? Like can be more specific on what you're asking me so I can answer that question. All right. Let's see. All right. I know one of the baits that you really liked was the Little Banger, and that was our 1.5 square bill, and it came out last fall. We only did it in 4 colors. It was a limited edition with Debo, and we're going to come out with 8 new colors. What'd you like about that bait?
One, go back to those 3 qualities I said about a good bait: be able to cast it, trigger, and land fish. When I first tested that out, I got this pool in my backyard. I look at everything, and I get in the pool and underwater, and I watch things. But what I noticed one, it's silent, which I love. 2, you can cast that thing a long ways, right? And then you can just burn the crap out of that. So you can burn, pause, or you get on. I like it because it only has like a 2 foot, maybe 2 foot max depth to it, depending on line. You can feel a little bit of grass. You can rip it out of the grass, and it goes true. That's what I love best about that. There's not too many baits, especially smaller ones with wide volume, that you can burn. I was using 8-to-1 gear ratio. It doesn't roll over on itself. So there's a lot of triggering factors. Speed kills in bass fishing, especially small stuff. And small stuff, it's hard to cast and it's hard to burn. You'll notice on a lot of BFS baits that you can't go very fast with them because the water, the way it hits, the resistance, it won't do it. And that's one of them. And the first time I had that in the wrong color, the wrong this, that, and the other. That Krakow, that one that Debo, the chartreuse and green.
Yeah.
I crushed fish no matter what body of water it was on, what color of water, it didn't matter. It had a lot of triggering, and I'd lost very few fish with that thing.
Someone wants to know why you prefer, I'm going to grab the new tackle boxes to show somebody, but someone wants to know why you prefer a silent lipless over one with rattles.
Okay. 2 things is, one, because of pressure on lakes. Anymore, you're seeing it all time and time again. you may be going behind 2 or 3 people, or by the time spring comes around, they've already seen those rattles. I mean, that fish, if you watch them over time, stupid bass, what I'd love to find, further north you go, the dumber the fish get. The further south you go, the smarter they get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I mean by that is they're educated. After the first time a fish is hooked and landed, he's picking up on vibes that he don't like. That shit hurts. It don't like it. He got dragged in this ugly boat or the bank with some weird alien. And so the silent is just, it's less, there's no true silent bait on moving baits. See, what happens is the rattles, I think, are sometimes, they don't match nature. And so the silent bait, they always make noise, and you got not only the hooks themselves, but the hook hanger meshing with the split rings, it always makes noise, always. And also there's always, if you go underwater and listen, there's noise being made by silent baits just going through the water. Same as a spinner bait, it makes noise. And there's been, last 2 years, there's been huge studies that are published. One by the University of Notre Dame recently. I've been getting a lot of research into the sight, what fish actually see, because they have 2 cones compared to our 3. And they're also finding out now that their eyes actually change throughout the season. So there's a lot of things, going back to what I said earlier, the silent thing is fish become attuned to what their environment, that's survival. If anything in nature, you know, they don't like certain noises and sounds that know that it's been a bad experience for them. They remember that.
Okay, cool. All right. Someone asked about the jerk bait box. I still have the plastic on. Now let me just do this. All right, guys. Obviously, this is going to be orange to match all the Monster Bass stuff. You know, same stuff. But what's cool about it, you know, is you can just drop your crankbaits in and pull them out. You don't have to worry about the hooks. You can drop them back in. Super easy. And you know, Plano sells these things for like $45. I'm sorry. Tackle storage should not cost that much. And you guys are going to be able to get these things for like $25 or I don't know what the final landed cost is going to be because I don't control tariffs. I'm not the president yet. But when I do, I promise I'm going to run on the platform of no tariffs for fishing products.
Well, we could talk about that too with Japanese here after bid when you want.
Yeah. So, okay. What else can I show while I'm sitting here? I can't show the fishing line because I got nothing to show you, but we got a whole thing of fishing line coming out, and braid and Japanese fluoro. I can show you the other boxes, but there's no point. It's a box. You'll see them all. And so,
going back to that lipless.
Okay.
I've been telling people quietly that we're working on one, and they're very excited.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest supporter of the lipless that I built was Mikey himself.
Yeah.
You know, that guy, he's awesome on Guntersville, and he's awesome on grass, and he's one of the best. He's one of the better, I should say, lipless fishermen there is I think, around.
He's pretty good. I'm sure there's a lot of good ones around the country.
I like him too because he studies why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man stuff, dad stuff. He's talking about Mikey Balls, who's been on the show many times, and he's a funny dude. And
Debo liked it. Debo loves it too. I took him fishing up in Minnesota last year. Matter of fact, showed him how to tube fish, and I whipped out that gold and blackback lipless, and he kind of liked it, so to say.
Yeah. All right, let's take a minute. I want to acknowledge some of these people that have caught fish because on the website in the resource section we've got the trophy room, and we love to celebrate wins, big and small, because I think that no matter what you're catching, be proud of it. My PB is still 5-1. It's a smallmouth, and one of these days I will go up to Northern California and fish with T-Rex or Nick, and maybe they'll put me on some big fish. Probably just hand me the reel and the rod and just let me reel it in. And then we can say we've caught some stuff. So if you want to catch, if you've caught something and you want to head over to the monsterbass.com/PB, upload your catches. We're going to celebrate it. This is Noah from New York. He didn't specify how big it was, but congratulations to this guy. This is Carter from Texas, 7'3". This is Tom from Illinois at 5'11".
Big fish in Illinois.
Yeah. This is William. I think I used this picture before. 3 for 8 in Tennessee. This is an 11-pounder. Look at the belly on this one. This is an 11-pounder out of Mississippi.
That just ate a young kid.
Yeah. This is Mike. He didn't say where or what. And last but not least, Bass Pro Shop Guy with 5. So congratulations to you guys. I'm going to send you guys something for submitting your photos. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, all right. Let me see.
I'm going back down to Florida this winter with some of our new stuff, by the way. I got some hidden gems down in Florida. I got a lot of friends down there. My best down there, I got fortunate. Guy told me about this little known lake, and it's off an orange orchard. It's cool as hell. And they're losing. It's getting one of the deeper lakes I've seen down there. There's certain times of the day you get a wind shift. You actually smells like an inside of an air freshener in a car. All the orange smells you smell. It's pretty cool. Caught 12.5 there the first day I was there. It was very cool. Okay. And love fishing Florida. Love fishing Texas. Lake Fork's one of my favorite places other than the snakes and the boats.
Yeah. Let's ask Coley about her experience on Lake Fork. Did I get the 8-pound striper pick that I sent? Man stuff, dad stuff, I don't know. If you sent it to me while I was on vacation, there's a good chance I missed it because I did my best not to check email every day. I will be honest, towards the end, I had to because I was like, I've been gone for too long. This is way too much time for me to have off. Let's see. All right. Does anyone in the audience have questions, or should I throw up the phone number and you guys can call in? Which one? What should we do, you guys? We only got 14 likes, so it feels kind of crappy. Thank God I'm going to go to therapy right afterwards. All right, I'm going to throw my phone number in the chat. You guys want to call in, give me a phone call, and we'll answer some questions. Yeah, 19 likes. We just went up 6. Good stuff. I don't know what Caro's talking about. Is Marty Lawson in the chat? Oh, what's your PB? What's your PB?
Mine?
Yeah.
12.5.
Okay. Where'd you catch it?
In Florida. I caught it 11.5 in Lake Fork. 11.5 is my biggest in Texas, and 12.5 is in Florida. And I got a 9 here in Indiana, believe it or not.
Wow. That might be the state record.
Nah, it's a lot bigger than that. They're just hard to find. You want to have a hard day of fishing, fish a tournament on the Ohio River. Oh my God.
I'm going to pass. Ohio might not be one of my favorite states. I've never had fun in Ohio.
The river's terrible. What's cool about where I'm at, though, be honest with you, I'm a drive away from some killer lakes. I mean, I'm 5 hours from St. Clair. I'm 6 hours to Guntersville. I'm 3 hours to Kentucky Lake. I'm 10 hours from the Mississippi River, Minnesota.
Those are not short drives, bro. That's a commitment.
That's fishing.
Right, we got a couple questions for you. If you could fish with one person, anyone in the world, who would it be?
Well, I've already done it. I wish I had the chance to do it again. It was that guy named Big Daddy. I wish I had one more day to fish with him.
Who was Big Daddy?
He's a mentor of mine, my best friend's dad.
Mm.
They got me hot and heavy, always treated me like his son. We went to Canada first, and I'll go back a little bit. Involved in a homicide case, 1 year and 6 days on the job, and it was nationally publicized, or the media made national news. And so I got a ton of it. 1 year, I got a Medal of Valor. It was pretty hairy, and I was feeling a lot of stress. I just wanted to get out of town. There was the next morning there was news cameras and everything. Just the attention this thing got. And so Big Daddy was living in North Carolina at the time. So why don't you come out here and bring Brett? And he lived in Winston-Salem at the time. He was a truck driver. Took me out of his Skeeter bass boat, and I realized then that I was hooked. I was just absolutely hooked on everything. And from that day forward, that was 32 years ago now, that I went on trips with that guy. I went Canada with him. I spent 2 weeks one time with just me and him up in Canada. And he was 36 years older than I was, and he was still fishing with me in his 80s, 12 hours a day.
Wow.
And he taught me how to tie spinner baits. He taught me a lot of stuff. And he was a power fisherman, and I taught him how to tube fish and worm fish, and he taught me how to power fish. And
sounds like he had a big influence on your life.
He was huge, and he taught me how to, he drove 8 million miles in a truck, never had a wreck. So he taught me a lot about, trailering and getting down the road, and campers and RVs, and just a great guy, man. They don't build them. I hate to say it, that guy went through hell as a kid. Was his mom. He grew up poor in central Arkansas, and a single mom was a school teacher. They didn't have a car, and most of the time he killed what they ate, from a young age. And so you learn from guys like that. They appreciate everything. They appreciate everything. And going fishing, he took me fishing with Brett, and Brett and I have been friends since my first 15 years old. We've been friends for, it's going on over 40 years now.
What's your favorite lure to target late summer river smallies?
Tube. And I'm telling you what, though, a late summer would be a tube. Yeah. It starts after late summer, early fall, and I'd switch over to spinnerbait and burn the shit out of it.
Well, we got a 9-year-old who's watching this for the very first time. He's learning new words.
Sorry.
So for I don't know, reeling with Briar, what your son's name is, but
tell him if he's going to. Is a 9-year-old asking or
no?
Okay.
No, I just found out that there's that he's.
I apologize. But that tube, they're smallmouths. If you hook them, certain Gramps will know this too. Stupid tube style.
Sure.
But in the fall, they start moving.
It's Commissioner Gordon.
That's a Alabama retailer wanting to pick up monster bass.
Well, then you better take it. What are you doing?
He'll call me back.
Oh my God.
They start transitioning. They start getting on that bait fish by early fall, and they know, especially the further north you go, the feedback comes on. Burning it. You can't. I lipless spinnerbait and a little banger. That little banger, I'm getting to be like, I'm going back up with it, and I'm going to get some. I'll show you some pictures of smallmouth of that thing here pretty soon.
Right on.
I'm not just selling a product. I'm telling you what they bite, and that's what I'll do. I'll tell people if we don't have it, we can always build it, but we need feedback of what people want too, or colors or certain things. But that's not me. I'm not going to be the guy who pushed helicopter lures on people.
Mm-hmm.
And that does nobody any good. If you don't you sell somebody something crap and they say it's this and say it's that and the greatest thing is sliced bread, they're going to get a bad taste about fishing. And that's not the whole point.
Sure. All right. I'm going to try and get a phone call here. Let's see. All right. We're going to take a phone call. Let me see here. Let me see here. We're going to get a phone call from a 9-year-old.
Cool.
Yeah. I hope. Hope there's not. Let's see. Are we getting it? Ugh. I really want to talk to this kid. Okay. All right. Well, Briar, we don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. If you're too shy right now, I totally get it, bro. But if you decide to change your mind, call my phone number, and I would love to talk with you. I'd love to hear what you love about Monster Bass, what your PB is. I'd love to know what you love about fishing. And you're probably back at school, so hopefully your first week of school has been pretty great. So hopefully next week you can, if you tune in, you can call in. I'd love to hear from you. So
I just got a text from Southern California watching the show.
Hopefully that wasn't Nick.
No. That's Alabama and California. While we're sitting here.
Okay. Well, listen, I told you I was only going to keep you till 5:15. So I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate that you decided to jump on board with us. I'm excited for the things that we're going to do and the baits that we're going to bring to market and the things that we're going to do with vets and first responders and kids. I think that the future is really bright, and I think that we're going to do some really good stuff together, and I'm excited that you're a part of it. So thank you for coming on today.
I appreciate not just having me on here, but anytime, the people can always email me now too, Mike@monsterbass.com. If you got questions or like a bait for certain reasons, or I love the feedback, or if you want certain colors or if you have your favorite tackle store doesn't have it yet, let me know. I'm not just selling product. I'm dead serious about selling the right product. And I think that given this opportunity to do this is awesome because I've seen the industry. I know it well. I've been to a lot of companies and I've talked to them and stuff and either sell crap or sell overpriced is that's a lot of it out there and people wasting money. And this is supposed to be a good time and help people having a good time and not people get wrapped up spending so much money just getting started, not having a clue what to do. And then it turns them off and that's not good for anybody. Yeah. So I appreciate the opportunity. Like I said, we may not get it all right 100% of the time, the first time, but if we listen to what the fish tell us and then the customers tell us and the fishermen and don't lie to them, we're going to knock it out. And I'm very excited, Rick, about what you've already said and the new products and the new opportunities. And people better pay attention to this brand. I can tell you that right now. They better pay attention.
I hope so. So
yeah, they will.
Listen, I appreciate you coming on, and we'll talk tomorrow.
All right, bud. Anybody wants to know about fishing Minnesota or Florida or Texas, hit me up. Let me know.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Well, there you go. Excited to see what we can do together and have them be a part of the Monster Bass family. Thank you guys for being a part of it. Like I said, I missed you guys. I'm glad to be back. It was good to see Gramps for a little bit, and we hope he's feeling better. You know, we're all praying for that guy. And so I have a guest next week. Let me see. I think he just confirmed. Let me see. I did. Oh, he hasn't confirmed yet. So I can't tell you who it is, but I got a pretty cool guest for you next week. We're gonna learn a little bit about this guy. I guess anyone under the age of 55 is a kid, at least for me. So I'm excited about that. Before we go to the final golden tickets and stuff, I'd love to know who you guys want to see as guests on the show. You know, we can bring back some previous guests. We can bring on some new guests. Should I bring on like the product manager from a bait company and let them talk about the baits that they're designing and why? Should we talk about specific topics like rod selection or things like that? You guys tell me. Jordan Sutton, you want to know how old I am? I just told you, 55, man. Roland Martin, At the Foe, KVD. KVD's been on the show. He's a tough one to schedule. You got to go through his wife. Rod selection would be a good topic. Yeah, I am old. It's all good. So I was hoping that I was going to get a package today with a new bait that's coming out in the box next month. It's called the Money Maker. I'm excited for that. I'm excited to show you guys. There's some really interesting stuff taking place in the industry. I don't know that I can talk about it just yet, but Tyler is always fun. Tyler who? Oh, Tyler's Real Fishing. Baits for beginners. Okay, I can do that. The BFS rods are on the water and should be here within, well, under 30 days. I don't know. Rafi, you know, we shaved his head. We shaved his beard on the show. I don't know. Rafi's coming back for a little bit. Bait selection based on weather and conditions. Have my son on so we can ask him questions about being my kid. That would be interesting. We'd have to have a bunch of questions lined up. What else? Just getting texts. When are the second version of the Lunker sticks coming? Lunker Stick Pros are going to be here before Christmas, probably the beginning of November. I'll have those up for pre-sale. When will the Lunker bag? Oh, James Anthony, I'm so bad. You keep asking me for that, and I keep saying I'll do it, and I didn't do it. I'd like to get a professional wrestler on the show. I'll be honest. I think that'd be funny as heck. What concerts am I going to see next? Who's asking me these questions? I give out my phone number and I just get random stuff. I just saw Youngblood a couple days ago. If you haven't seen him, Ozzy told him he had to conquer America. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen. I'm going to see Oasis next Sunday at the Rose Bowl. That's it. Those are the concerts I have tickets to. Braun Breaker. All right. Just watch Rick Storios post his concerts. I do. Oasis is going to be amazing. Come on. That looks so insane. I can't wait to go. When am I going to announce the September box? Here's the problem. Actually, I guess I could have them just kit me one and send it. I ran out of baits. I ran out of baits for the September box. I'm going to sell out of those. And normally I send the one-offs to me ahead of time so I can do all that. And I didn't. So I literally had to order some of them from Tackle Warehouse. And I've got them. I could tell you some of the. Can I tell you some of the baits for the September box? I could. But it's on my other laptop. So. Okay. So. No, not ICP. I love them, and I've been. I don't know what that is. Go heavy on the stickers in September, bro. I put like 3 stickers in every box. It's so interesting. Bush League. Have the informative fisherman on as a guest again. No, don't. Okay. Wait. No, don't have him on again. Or have him on again, or don't add stickers. We already get stickers, Heavy Yellow. Here's the thing. If I don't put stickers in the box, you guys lose your minds. My customers, it's the number one complaint. They're like, I saw the video and it had 3 stickers and I only got 2. Truth. Like, I try to put 2 to 3 stickers in every box. It's the best I can do. All right. All right, it's that time. It's time to put your golden ticket numbers in the chat. I'm going to pick one. Actually, I'll tell you what. Here's what we're going to do. And I think you guys can all get behind it. Is this too much pressure for a little dude? Is this too much pressure? Oh, God. If Breyer calls me, I'm going to pick him as the winner right now. Should we do that? I don't want to put too much pressure on the young man, but I'm going to give him an easy shot at winning. Everyone else, put your numbers into the chat. If you're watching, I'm going to pick you as the winner if you call me. No one can argue that. But if you don't want to, I totally get it. And it's not like a big deal. Go ahead, put those numbers in. Let's see what we got. I hope he calls too. He might not be on anymore. I mean, maybe he's on the East Coast and it's bedtime. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Let's do this. I'm going to pick one. Yeah, but man stuff, dad stuff, your daughter's not watching the show. Maybe next week. God, I would love for this little kid to call me. Ugh. Not that I don't like giving stuff to you guys, but I'd love to give it to some little kid. Hurry up. I'm about to pull the number. My God, Marty Lawson. About to call it. As soon as my clock hits 5:30, I'm calling it. So, oh my God, you guys are insane. Tattered Steel. I've never seen that name before. Tattered Steel, is this your first time watching? Idaho Kid, like there's a whole bunch of new people that I'm seeing that I haven't seen before. Oh, this is exciting. Hold on. Hi, this is Rick.
Hi, I have Breyer right here.
Okay. Breyer.
Say something. Yeah.
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Good.
What are you doing? Is this your first time watching the show?
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. What was your favorite part of the show? The fact that we're talking right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get a Monster Bass box in the mail?
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of the box?
The top water lures.
The top water lures. So you love to fish top water?
Yeah.
That's cool. How long have you been fishing, like since you were like before you could walk?
Yeah.
That's cool. What baits would you like to see in the next box?
A whopper flopper.
Jeez. What else?
Worms.
Okay. What's the biggest fish you ever caught?
A 5-pounder.
5 what?
What? Bass.
No, but like, was it 5 pounds even, or was it 5 point something?
5 pound even.
Woo-wee. That's pretty big. What'd you catch it on?
A live bluegill.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. What grade are you in?
3rd.
3rd grade. Do all your friends in school love to fish?
No.
They don't. Okay. All right. Well, what do you, so you probably have your own tackle box and all sorts of stuff. What don't you have that you need? Do you need a new tackle box? Like, do you have like tackle boxes like these? Do you have good tackle boxes?
Yeah.
Oh, you do. Okay. What is there anything that you don't have that you like wish you had?
No.
So you don't need anything. You have all the fishing tackle you could ever want.
No. Yeah. No, you don't.
No, you don't. What if your mom gave you $100 and you could go to the tackle shop and buy anything, what would you buy?
A catfish bowl.
A catfish what?
Oh.
A catfish pole. I don't have catfish poles. I could send you a can of Spam. If she gave you $100, if she gave you $100 to go to the fishing tackle store and they were out of catfish rods, what would you buy?
What would you buy? All kinds of stuff. A bait caster.
A bait caster rod, or a bait caster reel?
Reel.
A reel. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. You have my phone number. So I'd like you to, your mom can help you. I'd like you to go to my website and I'd like you to see if I have any bait cast reels, and I'm going to send you one.
Say what? Say thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And make sure you pick out right or left-handed. You figure out your mom or dad can help you, whoever, they can help you. But you pick it out. You tell me which one you want, and have your mom text me, and along with your address and stuff. And I'm going to send you one. Okay.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Listen. Have a good day. Have a good rest of your week at school, and don't forget, always listen to your mom.
Yes, sir.
Okay, buddy. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right. That was Briar. I love it. So, guys, Briar won the golden ticket. this week. I'm going to pick one other number, and the number is 34303. So, and yes, he did say sir, and I do appreciate that. So, that was really great. I'm glad he called in, and we're going to get that kid a bait caster. So I love it. I love it. I want to see more little kids watching the show, and let's take care of hooking them up. So good stuff, guys. All right. Well, listen, I had a great time with you guys today. I'm so happy to be back. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button on the way out, please do so. And I'm going to see you guys next week. I don't have really much travel in my future for a little bit. I am going to go up to Vancouver and see my friends, and I'd love to go and maybe do some fishing with a few people. Because I'd love to, I was nervous. I'll be honest, you guys. I was nervous because if Breyer said his PB was 5.2, I was going to lose it because my PB is 5.1. So, I mean, Breyer, good work, fella. And I'm glad that you called in, or whether you did or your mom coerced you to. Good job, because it makes my day that I get to hook you up with a bait caster. So, listen, for all you guys that tuned in for the first time, thanks for doing so. We'll send you a reminder next week, and I hope to see you guys all on an upcoming episode of Monster Bass Live. So thanks a lot, you guys. I'll see y'all next week.